A man walked into a restaurant with his little daughter, holding her hand tightly like she was the most precious thing in the world. His clothes were clean but worn, his shoes slightly torn, and his eyes carried a quiet exhaustion. People noticed. Some whispered. Some stared. And one person decided to humiliate him. But what happened next, no one in that restaurant ever forgot. Before we begin, if stories like this touch your heart, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Welcome to Kindness Story Hub, where every story reminds us how powerful kindness can truly be. It was a chilly Friday evening in Chicago. The kind of evening where families gathered, laughter filled the air, and restaurants buzzed with life. Inside a popular downtown restaurant, soft music played as couples and families enjoyed their meals. The door opened slowly. A man named Daniel stepped in with his 6-year-old daughter, Lily. She wore a simple yellow dress and clutched a small stuffed bunny. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Daddy, is this where we're eating?" she whispered, almost afraid to believe it. Daniel smiled gently. "Yes, sweetheart. Tonight is special." It was special. It was Lily's birthday. Daniel had been saving for weeks, skipping meals, working extra hours, doing whatever he could, just to give his daughter one beautiful evening. One memory she would never forget. But the moment they stepped inside, the room changed. A few people glanced at Daniel's worn jacket. A couple at the corner table exchanged looks. A waiter hesitated for just a second before approaching. "Do you have a reservation?" the waiter asked, his tone polite but distant. "No," Daniel replied softly. "But if there's a small table, we'd really appreciate it." The waiter looked them up and down, then forced a smile. "Let me check." Lily squeezed her father's hand. "It's okay if we go somewhere else," she whispered. Daniel bent down to her level. "No, princess. You deserve this." After a moment, they were seated at a small table near the back. Not the best spot, but Daniel didn't mind. Lily was smiling, and that was all that mattered. As they sat down, Lily looked around in awe. "It's so pretty here." Daniel nodded. "You deserve pretty things." A nearby table of well-dressed guests noticed them. One woman leaned toward her companion and whispered something, followed by a quiet laugh. Daniel pretended not to hear. The waiter returned and handed them menus. "Our specials are listed here," he said quickly before walking away. Daniel looked at the prices and swallowed hard. Everything was more expensive than he remembered. He hesitated. Lily noticed. "Daddy, I'm not that hungry," she said innocently. Daniel forced a smile. "We'll share something. And maybe, dessert." Her face lit up. "Really?" "Of course." As they decided on a simple meal, the atmosphere around them grew heavier. The whispers didn't stop. The stares didn't fade. Then it happened. A man from a nearby table, well-dressed, confident, loud, stood up and walked toward them. He didn't even try to hide his irritation. "Excuse me," he said sharply, loud enough for others to hear. "Are you sure you're in the right place?" The restaurant went quiet. Daniel looked up, confused. "I'm sorry. This is not a cheap diner," the man continued. "Some of us are here for a certain atmosphere." Lily's smile faded. She looked down at her hands. Daniel's face tightened, but he stayed calm. We're just here to have dinner. The men scoffed. Then maybe pick somewhere more suitable. A few people shifted uncomfortably. Others watched, saying nothing. Daniel took a deep breath. He could leave. He wanted to leave. But then he looked at Lily. She looked heartbroken. No, Daniel said quietly. We're staying. The man rolled his eyes. Unbelievable. Just then, another voice cut through the tension. That's enough. Everyone turned. From a table near the window, a man stood up. He was calm, composed, dressed simply but elegantly. There was something about him, something commanding. He walked over slowly. I believe they have every right to be here, he said firmly. The rude man frowned. And who are you two? I'm someone who values respect, the man replied, his voice steady. The room was silent. The men turned to Daniel and Lily. Please don't let anyone make you feel unwelcome. Daniel nodded, surprised. Thank you. But the stranger wasn't done. He turned to the waiter. I'd like to speak to the manager. Within moments, the manager rushed over, clearly nervous. Yes, sir. The stranger looked around the room. Is this how guests are treated here? The manager hesitated. No, sir, of course not. Because what I just witnessed says otherwise. The rude man tried to interrupt, but the stranger raised a hand. Not now. Then came the moment that changed everything. I'm the CEO of this restaurant group, the stranger said calmly. Gasps filled the room. The manager's face went pale. Sir, I didn't realize. That's the problem, the CEO replied. Kindness shouldn't depend on who someone is. He turned back to Daniel and Lily. Sir, I'm deeply sorry for what you experienced tonight. This is not what we stand for. Daniel shook his head slightly. You don't have to. I do, the CEO said gently. He knelt down to Lily's level. And happy birthday, he added with a warm smile. Lily blinked in surprise. You know. He smiled. I heard you earlier. Then he stood and addressed the staff. This family will be treated with the utmost respect. Their meal is on the house. And I expect every guest here to remember what really matters. The rude man quietly returned to his seat, embarrassed. The atmosphere shifted. Suddenly, the whispers turned into soft smiles. A woman at another table waved at Lily. Someone else nodded at Daniel. Kindness had entered the room. The waiter returned, this time with genuine warmth. What would you like to order? Daniel hesitated, then looked at Lily. What do you want, princess? The waiter grinned. Coming right up. As the evening went on, something beautiful happened. People who had once judged began to soften. A couple sent over a drink. Another table wished Lily a happy birthday. Even the staff seemed different, kinder, more attentive. Daniel sat there, overwhelmed. Not because of the free meal, but because, for the first time in a long time, he felt seen. Respected. Human. When the cake arrived, the lights dimmed slightly, and the staff gathered around. Happy birthday to you. Lily giggled, her eyes shining brighter than ever. Daniel watched her, his heart full. This was the moment he had worked so hard for. "I hope tonight turned around for you," he said. Daniel nodded. "It did. More than you know." The CEO smiled. "Just promise me one thing." "What's that?" "Keep showing your daughter what kindness looks like." Daniel looked at Lily, then back at him. "I will." As they walked out of the restaurant, Lily held her father's hand tightly. "Daddy." "Yes, sweetheart." This was the best birthday ever. Daniel smiled, his eyes slightly teary. "I'm glad." She looked up at him. "And that man, he was really nice." Daniel nodded. "Yes. He was. But you know what," she added. "What?" "You're the nicest." Daniel's heart melted. And in that moment, he realized something powerful. Kindness doesn't come from wealth. It doesn't come from status. It comes from the heart. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to stand up and remind the world what truly matters. One act of kindness can turn humiliation into hope, pain into joy, and silence into courage. So the next time you see someone being judged, overlooked, or treated unfairly, be that person. Because kindness isn't just a gesture. It's a choice. And it has the power to change everything. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder today. This is Kindness Story Hub, where every story inspires a kinder world.